Today we'll start with organic chemistry. Firstly, what is organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry that deals with the study of carbon and its compounds. The study of carbon and its compounds have a separate branch in chemistry, and that branch is known as organic chemistry. What makes carbon so unique so that we have a separate branch to study carbon and its compounds? The answer is catenation. How do you define catenation? Catenation is nothing but it's a property exhibited by carbon atom, where a carbon atom have the tendency to link with one another through covalent bonds to form chains and rings. That is, carbon can link with one another through covalent bonds, and the chain may contain hundreds and thousands of carbon atoms. None of the other elements can form such big chains or rings, but carbon, it has the tendency to form long chains by linking to one another through covalent bonds, and this property is known as catenation, and this property of catenation makes carbon unique from all the other elements that is found in nature. Tetravalency of carbon. We all know that carbon has an atomic number 6. That is, each carbon atom contains 6 electrons, and the electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. In the ground state, there are 2 electrons in the 1s orbital, 2 electrons in the 2s orbital, and 2 electrons in the 2p orbital. Now, what do you mean by ground state? If the electrons enter into the available atomic orbitals in the increasing order of their energy, then it is said to be in ground state. What do you mean by excited state? Leaving one of the lower energy orbital unfilled, if the electrons enter into higher energy orbital, then it is said to be in excited state. Now, if you observe here, in the excited state of carbon, the 2s orbital is half filled and the electrons have jumped to 2p orbital, and therefore it is said to be in excited state. And in the excited state, there are 4 unpaired electrons, and therefore carbon will always form 4 covalent bonds, or carbon is tetravalent, and carbon can form 4 bonds in different ways. As we have seen here, carbon is surrounded by 4 covalent bonds, and all the bonds are single bonds. Since all the bonds are single bonds, carbon undergoes sp3 hybridization, and here there are 2 single bonds and 1 double bond, and in this case there are 2 double bonds. If carbon is involved in a double bond, then we say that it is sp2 hybridized, and in the third case there is a single bond and there is a triple bond. That is, carbon is involved in a triple bond, and we say that it is sp hybridized. And remember, in sp3 hybrid carbon, the percentage S character will be 25%, whereas in sp2 hybrid carbon atoms, the percentage S character will be 33.3%, whereas in the case of sp hybrid orbital, the percentage S character will be 50%, and higher the S character, more will be the electronegativity. And in this case, since it is sp hybrid carbon, the bond will be shorter and will be very close to the nucleus, and it will be a stronger bond when compared to sp2 hybrid carbons and when compared to sp3 hybrid carbons. Now, you are supposed to remember one thing, if there are only single bonds present, then they are all sigma bonds. If there are multiple bonds present, that is, if there is a double bond or a triple bond, then in the case of a double bond, one will be a sigma bond and the other bond will always be a pi bond. Even in this case, there is a double bond here, out of which one is a sigma covalent bond and the other one will be a pi bond, and this is a sigma bond and this will be a pi bond. In the case of a triple bond, there will be one sigma bond and two pi bonds. Now we will try to find out the number of sigma bonds and the number of pi bonds in these given compounds. Firstly, coming to this compound can be written in this way. You have a double bond here, CH, now you have a single bond between carbon and hydrogen. Whenever there is a single bond, it will always be a sigma bond. You have a triple bond between these two carbon atoms. Whenever there is a triple bond, one will be a sigma bond and the remaining two will be pi bonds. Between these two carbon atoms, there is a single bond, therefore it should be a sigma bond. Between carbon and hydrogen, there is a single bond, therefore this should be a sigma bond. Between these two carbon atoms, there is a double bond, out of which one will be a sigma bond and one will be a pi bond. Between this carbon and hydrogen, there is a single bond which is a sigma bond. Single bond between these two carbon atoms, sigma bond, and these are all sigma bonds. Therefore, if we count, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 sigma bonds and 1, 2, 3 pi bonds. Out of these 10 sigma bonds, this sigma bond is between carbon and hydrogen. Therefore, we will now count the number of sigma bonds between carbon and hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Between carbon and hydrogen, the number of sigma bonds is 6. And between carbon atoms, we will find out the number of sigma bonds. There is 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is, the number of sigma bonds between carbon is equal to 4. And as we all know that there are 3 pi bonds and all these pi bonds are between carbon and carbon atoms. Now moving to the next, coming to the second molecule, which can be written as CH2, double bond C, double bond C, single bond H, single bond C, H3. In this case, if we count the number of sigma bonds, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 sigma bonds, out of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sigma bonds are between carbon and hydrogen, and 1, 2 and 3 sigma bonds are between carbon and carbon. In the same way, the number of pi bonds in this molecule is 2, that is 1 and 2. Moving further, what is the type of hybridization of each carbon in the following compounds? And the first compound is CH3Cl. Now, I write the complete structural formula of CH3Cl, and the complete structural formula looks like this. If you observe here, there is only one carbon atom, and this carbon atom is bonded to 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 chlorine atom through single bonds. Since carbon is involved in only single bond, the hybridization of carbon will be sp3. Therefore, in the first compound, the hybridization of carbon is sp3. Second compound, CH3 2CO. And if I write the structural formula, it looks something like this. If you observe here, there are 3 carbon atoms, out of which these 2 carbon atoms are involved only in single bonds. Since these 2 carbon atoms are involved only in single bonds, the hybridization should be sp3, whereas this carbon atom is involved in a double bond. If any carbon atom is involved in a double bond, then it should be sp2 hybridized. Therefore, this carbon is sp2 hybridized and the other 2 carbons are sp3 hybridized. Moving further, CH3CN, the structural formula looks like this. There are 2 carbon atoms. This carbon atom is involved in only single bonds. Since it is involved in only single bonds, the hybridization should be sp3. Whereas this second carbon atom, it is involved in a triple bond. Whenever carbon atoms are involved in a triple bond, then it should be sp hybridized carbon. Structural representation of organic compounds, where we will be studying about complete, condensed and bond line structural formulas. We will just take an example of ethane, ethene and ethine. Molecular formula of ethane is C2H6. In the case of complete structural formula, we will be representing each and every bond present in the molecule. A single dash represents a single bond, a double dash represents a double bond and a triple dash represents a triple bond. In the case of ethane, you have 2 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms, and the complete structural formula is written in this way, indicating the bonds between all the carbon atoms and the bonds between all carbon and hydrogen atoms. In the case of condensed structural formula, some of the bonds will be omitted and the condensed structural formula of ethane can be written in this way, that is CH3 CH3. Similarly, ethene, it has a formula C2H4. In the case of ethene, there will be a double bond between 2 carbon atoms and there are single bond between carbon and hydrogen atoms, and the complete structural formula looks something like this. Whereas the condensed structural formula, we have omitted the bonds between carbon and hydrogen, but we have retained the double bond between 2 carbon atoms, and the condensed structural formula of ethene looks something like this. And coming to the third molecule, ethyne, this is how you represent the complete structural formula, indicating the bonds between all the atoms present. That is, there is a triple bond between 2 carbon atoms and there is a single bond between carbon and hydrogen. In the case of condensed structural formula, the bonds between carbon and hydrogen is omitted and we have retained only a triple bond, that is between carbon and carbon. Taking another example to represent the complete structural formula and the condensed structural formula, we have methanol, that is CH3OH. The complete structural formula looks something like this, where we have represented all the bonds present in the molecule. There are three bonds, that is single bonds between carbon and hydrogen, and there is a bond between carbon and oxygen, which is a single bond, and there is a single bond between oxygen and hydrogen. And the condensed structural formula for this will be CH3OH. Coming to the bond line structural representation, here in bond line structural representation of organic compounds, carbon and hydrogen atoms are not shown, and the lines representing carbon-carbon bonds are drawn in a zigzag fashion. The only atoms specifically written are oxygen, chlorine, nitrogen, etc. That is, in bond line representation, you will be saying only the zigzag lines and only particular atoms like oxygen, chlorine, nitrogen, or some functional groups will be indicated in the formula, and the terminals represent CH3 group, that is in the ends, that is the terminals, it represents CH3 groups. We will take some example and will study about the bond line structural representations. Let us take the example of 3-methyl octane. In this case, 3-methyl octane can be represented in different ways. Since it is octane, there will be 8 carbon atoms in the parent chain, and on the third carbon atom you have a methyl group, that is a CH3 group, which can also be written in the zigzag fashion in this way, and the bond line structural formula of 3-methyl octane will be represented in this way. Here I told you that the terminals 1 and 2, there are 2 terminals which represents CH3 group, and there is a substituent CH3 which also becomes one of the terminal, and the substituent is on the third carbon atom, and you have a terminal on the third carbon atom also. The junctions, these junctions represents carbon bonded to appropriate number of hydrogen atoms to satisfy their valency. In cyclic compounds, the bond line structural formula can be written in this way. Consider cyclopropane. Cyclopropane is represented in this fashion, and chlorocyclohexane is represented in this way. You have an hexane to which a chlorine atom is attached. Moving further, expand the following condensed formula into their complete structural formula. The first compound CH3, CH2, CO, CH2, CH3. We all know that a complete structural formula indicates all the bonds present in the molecule, and they have given the condensed formula. You have been asked to represent its complete structural formula. So to begin with, you have a carbon atom attached to 3 hydrogen atoms, that is carbon. You have single bonds to which 3 hydrogens are attached, and This carbon is attached to another carbon by a single bond, and the carbon is attached to two hydrogen, and this carbon is attached to another carbon to which an oxygen atom is attached. You have a single bonded carbon, and remember, oxygen is always divalent, that is, oxygen is always bonded by two bonds, that is, it is always bonded to two atoms or a single atom by a single bond or a double bond. Here you have a carbon oxygen double bond. Further, this carbon is attached to another carbon which is further attached to two other hydrogen atoms, and you have a CH3 group at the end, and this will be the complete structural formula of this compound. Moving further, CH3, CH, double bond CH, CH2 thrice, CH3. How do we represent this molecule in a complete structural formula? You have a CH3 which can be written as CH3, to which a carbon is attached by a single bond, and this carbon is attached to one hydrogen. You have a double bond, represent this double bond. You have a carbon which is attached to hydrogen, and this carbon is attached to another carbon atom, and if you observe here, there are three CH2 groups in the chain. Therefore, it is written as CH2, 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 and at last you have a CH3. This is how you represent the complete structural formulas. Write a condensed formula and also bond line formula for these compounds. Now the compound is given OH, CH2, 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 CH, CH3, CH, CH3, CH3. To start with, you have a OH which is written as it is, and if you observe here, you have three CH2 groups which can be written as CH2 thrice, and you have a CH and a CH3 which is written as it is, and you have a CH followed by two CH3 groups which can be written as CH3 twice. So this will be the condensed formula. Moving further, let us try to write the bond line formula for this compound. Terminal, you have an OH group, OH, you have three CH2 groups, therefore this represents one CH2 group, you have another CH2 groups, and you have a third CH2 groups, and you have a CH to which a CH3 is attached. So this terminal represent this CH3, and this corner represent this CH, and you have a CH to which two CH3 are attached. This terminal represent one CH3, and this terminal represents another CH3. So this will be the bond line formula for this compound. Moving further, you have a CN which is attached to a carbon, and this carbon is further attached to another CN group and a OH group. Now we will consider this carbon atom. this carbon atom is attached to one hydrogen. Further, it is attached to two CN groups and it is attached to a OH group. So this will be the condensed formula of this compound. And coming to the bond line formula, you have a carbon which is attached to a OH group, which is attached to a CN group, and which is again attached to another CN group. This will be the bond line formula. Three-dimensional representation of organic molecules. We all know that most of the organic molecules have a three-dimensional structure. And how to represent a three-dimensional structure on a plain paper which is two-dimensional? To represent a molecule in three dimension, we'll just take a simple example of methane molecule, which has a formula CH4. That is, in methane, carbon is the central atom and it is bonded to four other hydrogen atoms. And the structure of methane can be represented in this way. Here, this black ball represent carbon atom and these white balls represent hydrogen atoms, and this stick represents the covalent bonds. If you can observe here, none of the atoms are in a single plane. Here, this hydrogen atom is facing towards the observer and this hydrogen atom is away from the observer, and this hydrogen, this carbon and this hydrogen are in a one plane. It can be shown in this way. If you can observe here, they all lie in the same plane. This hydrogen is facing towards the observer and this hydrogen is facing away from the observer. To represent this molecule on a plain paper, it is represented somewhat like this. If you observe here, you have a carbon here which is surrounded by four hydrogen atoms, and to represent the bond I have used different types of lines. These two lines are normal lines. You have a solid wedge here and you have a dashed wedge here. The normal line represents the bonds in the plane of paper. In this case, these two bonds are in the plane of paper and they can be represented by a normal line. That is, these two bonds are nothing but these two bonds. Now, you have this bond which is facing towards the observer and that is represented by a solid wedge. This bond is facing away from the observer and that is represented by a dash wedge, which means that the bond is away from the observer. And you can note that the broader part of the wedge will always be towards the observer. Here, this is the solid wedge and this is towards the observer. The hydrogen atom is towards the observer and which represents the solid wedge or the broader part of the wedge. And coming to the dash wedge, which is representing this bond here, carbon atom is facing towards the observer, therefore the broader part of the wedge is towards carbon, which means that carbon is towards the observer and the hydrogen is away from the observer in the case of this bond. Classification of organic compounds. Organic compounds are broadly classified into two types: alicyclic or open chain or aliphatic compounds, and cyclic or closed chain or ring compounds. Alicyclic or open chain or aliphatic compounds are those in which they have an open chain of carbon atoms, and this open chain may be a straight chain or it may be branched. Aliphatic compounds are further classified into two types, that is saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds. Saturated compounds are the compounds in which the carbon atoms are bonded by single bonds, that is they contain only carbon-carbon single bonds. Example of saturated compounds are alkanes. Unsaturated compounds are those in which there are carbon-carbon multiple bonds. That is, in the case of unsaturated compounds, it contains carbon-carbon multiple bond, which are further classified into alkenes and alkynes. Alkenes are those in which you have a carbon-carbon double bond, and alkynes are those in which there exists a carbon-carbon triple bonds. Cyclic or closed chain or ring compounds are those in which the carbon atoms are joined end to end to form a closed structure or a ring structure, and these cyclic compounds or closed chain compounds or ring compounds are further classified into homocyclic or carbocyclic and heterocyclic compounds. Homocyclic compounds are those which consist of only carbon atoms in the ring. That is, there are no other atoms apart from carbon atoms in homocyclic compounds, and these homocyclic compounds are further classified into alicyclic and aromatic. Alicyclic compounds are those which resemble aliphatic compounds in their properties. Aromatic compounds are a class of organic compounds which include benzenoid and non-benzenoid compounds, which will be studied in the further classes. Heterocyclic compounds also contains ring, but in the case of heterocyclic compounds, one or more carbon atoms of the ring are replaced by some heteroatoms like nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, sulfur, etc.